Hey, what's happening, Game One? SirJames coming at you guys with another video. Today's video, I have a product review courtesy of Nyko, and it's this item here, which is the Nintendo Switch Power Pack. And what this item is that it's an external battery for the Switch, which Nyko has promised to double the Switch's battery life. The main question is, does it work as intended or is it a disaster? I am actually happy to report that this product does work as advertised, with one bit of drawback. But before I talk about the drawback, let's go ahead and just kind of go over everything in general, starting off with the battery. Again, because this is an external battery, the main question that people want to know is, well, how much longer can you play? And it really depends on the game. Now, do keep in mind that this is a 5,000 milliamp per hour battery, which states it on the back of the box, which of course retails for $40. Now, if you're playing a heavy game like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, on a fully charged Nintendo Switch, on average, you're looking at about 2 hours, 45 minutes to 3 hours and 15 minutes of game time. For me personally, it's usually about 3 hours and 10 minutes on average. And if you think about it, if you're playing a game that you fully enjoy, that battery life isn't too good. Now, of course, if you're playing a game on the lighthearted side or some of the arcadey ones, you'll definitely get more lifespan out of the Switch, especially because you're looking at 4 hours, 5, maybe even 6 hours, but that's kind of pushing it. And I am happy to say that with a fully charged Switch and a fully charged power pack, for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, specifically that game alone, I was getting about 6.5 to 7 hours of game time, which is a dramatic difference and one that I'm pleased with its initial result. Now, again, if you're playing a lighthearted game and not Zelda, then you'll get even more time out of it. So I do keep that in mind. Now, what you get inside the box is very simple. You do get a little instruction sheet. You're also getting this USB to USB-C connection. And you have the product itself and the color scheme of black to go ahead and match the Switch design. So again, very easy and simple as that. Now, before I go and show you guys how to connect it and how everything works, let's go ahead and just kind of take a quick tour around this. On the very bottom here, you do have a kickstand, so instead of using the one built into the Switch, this has its own personal one, and this is actually a lot better compared to the Switch itself. On the other bottom corner here, you're going to notice that there is a button here with some LED lights. There's actually a total of 4 that will light up if it's fully charged, and basically what the LED means is that it's kind of giving you an indicator. Each one of those LEDs represents 25%. If 3 LEDs are lit, that is 75%, 2, 50, 1, 25, again, simple as that. Now, in order to turn the device on or off, all you need to do is hold down the button for 3 seconds. And of course, you'll get an indication on the top right-hand corner of your Switch indicating that if it's turned on or not. Now, there is a nice built-in feature where if your Switch is already fully charged, of course, this will automatically turn itself off, just so you guys are fully aware. And of course, on the very corner here, you're going to notice these notches, which are actually on the right and left hand side. And basically by pushing these off to the opposite direction and pushing up with your thumb, this will actually detach the top portion so you can go ahead and slide your Switch console in, which we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Now, do keep in mind that this will only go in one way because there is a USB-C connection here because it does need to charge the Switch. So you're basically going to slide it down. You may have to angle it just slightly, but you're not going to try to force it in. And once you have it in, just go ahead and firmly press down until you can't go down anymore. Again, not too rough with it. Then you're going to go ahead and get the top piece, put it back in, which will go only one way. And you want to try to push down on these little corner pieces here so that way it can kind of lock into place, like so. And you should hear a click. And when you hear that click, you're good to go, meaning that's locked in and ready to go. Now, another nice thing about the product too is that if you needed to charge the power pack and the Switch at the same time, you can actually do that, especially if you just wanted to charge overnight. All you need to do is plug in the USB-C connection over here on this bottom corner. There's actually no USB-C connection on the bottom like it normally is on the Switch because the device is using that port. So therefore, it's coming out here on the corner instead. Now, on the downside is that if you do need to recharge the power pack, this power pack actually takes several hours to recharge itself, meaning that if it's something that you're hoping to recharge quickly just so you can take it with you back on the road, that's not going to be happening because, again, this will take just a really, really long time recharge, like 5-6 hours. It's pretty crazy. Now, when you do have the item in place, a question that you may also have is how heavy is it? Now, it does add a little bit of weight to the Switch, but because this is only a 5,000 milliamp per hour battery, it's not a heavy battery. It's still a light battery, but there is a little bit of weight to this. Now, in general, I actually kind of like this because it adds a little bit of heftiness to it, but not too much. And because it adds a little bit more bulk on the back here, I kind of feel like I'm getting much more of a comfortable grip while holding the Nintendo Switch. Now, for teens and adults, the weight factor shouldn't be an issue, but for little kids, and there may be an issue with that. Because I did do an initial test with my little brother using the device, and he was playing Mario Kart and a few other games. I told him specifically that he had to hold the Switch, and after a little bit of time he tended to kind of get some discomfort and he wasn't happy with the product. But when I removed the pack by itself and just so he was holding only the Switch, he felt much more better. He was able to hold out longer periods of time. So again, this is not something I would probably recommend for little kids at all. Now, also too, do keep in mind that this product is actually advertised more for those who play in handheld or tabletop mode. But if you're looking for one that you can use with your Switch dock, Nyko does have an alternate option, which I believe is called the Power Boost or Nyko Boost Pack, something like that, which will actually connect to the bottom of your Switch. It's only about a 2,500 milliamp per hour battery, but it's one that connects to the bottom and it's still dockable, just so you guys are fully aware. But of course, the battery life on that one is a dramatic difference compared to this, and of course there's also a price point difference, but links to both will be in the description down below. Now, another question is, can you still remove your Joy-Cons? The answer is yes, because it's only attaching to the Switch hardware and not the rail system to block the usage of the Joy-Cons. And as far as the kickstand goes, the kickstand works out great and you get a nice viewing angle, but do keep in mind that there's only one to it. Now, of course, when you do have the device put together, you do have access to everything that you need: your video game slot, headphone jack, the exhaust fan, of course, the volume buttons, and power. On the bottom here, you won't have access to a USB-C connection, and of course you won't be able to have access to the original Switch kickstand or the micro SD card slot, but you really don't need access to that anyways, unless if you're going to upgrade your micro SD card slot, or if you wanted to use it in dock mode, then you're going to have to kind of remove it out of this product altogether. But I will say, after my initial period of testing of use, again, the item does work as intended and I'm very pleased with it. Now, if you do want something that's going to provide you even more terms of battery life, you're going to have to get something like these external battery packs, which also can get a little bit more expensive, but these tend to also get pretty heavy. But for basically what it is, I mean, if you tend to kind of travel a lot or go on a plane, and I feel like this should fill you in just fine, just enough time to kind of get whatever game session that you want to play with no issues whatsoever. But again, the only major downside is that this battery pack takes just several hours to recharge, and that's really about it. But if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Again, this is $40. A link to it is in the description down below. Now, I do apologize for the awkward ending there. I actually did slightly pass out due to the heat that I was suffering through. But to go ahead and give you guys the final verdict out of 5, I am actually going to be giving this product a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Overall, the product does work as intended. It does provide double the battery life, but again, the major drawback is that it takes several hours to recharge that power pack, and that's really about it. But again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Until then, I am SirJames from Gamerfuzion.com, where we empower your gaming.